Hello and welcome. Today we're talking about mess, clutter, chaos, all the typical things that we talk about on this channel. But I really wanted to dive into specifically people that are dealing with stubborn mess and stubborn clutter or stubborn chaos, as in this has become a way of life, so to speak, right? Obviously, if you've been dealing with this for months or years at a time, you already know there's probably some deeper issues going on, and that's what I like to always get to. So today we're talking about if you've been waking up to a mess and going to bed on one for, like I said, whatever amount of time, and you know obviously this is beyond printables and beyond surface tips. Today's video is for you because we're talking about something that a lot of people don't talk about in this space: patterns. That's right. Typically, you only hear about patterns when we're talking about dating. So let's take the gal that is always with the abusive guy. After like guy number 3, it starts to become very apparent, like, okay, you're attracting a certain type of guy, right? It's the same situation over and over again, regardless of, the person. So with that being said, patterns also are rampant in all areas of our life, and a lot of times it's easier to see them when we're looking at other people. So today's video, it's going to be, or my goal for you anyways, at the end of this, that you examine your own life and you look for the patterns that are leading to the stubborn chaos that's going on in your world. What we're going to do is look at your life and see, what are those patterns? If you are saying that it's your schedule, or you're saying that the issue is the kids or your partner and all these things in the house, that may be fine and well, but they're not the problem, okay? Like I said, it's usually deeper than that. When it comes to other people in the house, it's more so about the nature of the relationship that you have. But I don't want to get too far ahead of myself. Anyway, when it comes to your messy house, the true thing is, or a house that's even just out of control, or a life that feels out of control, or just very stagnant and repetitive, that whole thing of being on the hamster wheel. Every day is just the same mess. New day, same mess. We don't need any more of that. So this is what you need to look at. Let's say every Saturday you have to clean up the house, but you're also in the midst of that, you're wondering, how in the world did the house get so bad, right? I just cleaned up the house last Saturday. What we have to do is we kind of have to take a step back and go to a higher level and look down on this thing and look at, well, what happened the day before Saturday, right? What happens on Fridays? On Friday, we threw those clothes down on the ground. That pair of socks and those pants, they're still there. And then let's rewind a little bit more. What happened on Thursday? Thursday, the kids had whatever practice. They threw all their stuff into the entranceway, and that stuff is still there, So on Thursday, that stuff was there. Friday came, we stepped over the kids' stuff that, is by the entranceway, and we dropped those clothes by the door in our bedroom. Here we are on Saturday, and we're like, what happened, right? The pair of socks that you left on the floor on Monday, right? They're still there on Saturday, obviously. And so all I'm saying is that what happened on Monday, what happened on Tuesday, Wednesday, so on and so forth, that led up to, obviously, what we're looking at here on Saturday. What we want to do is we kind of need to reverse engineer what's going on here, because the mess isn't coming out of nowhere. It has a source, and that's what I really want you to hold on to. There is a source. We talk about habits a lot, but again, like I said, it's a pattern that you can see, okay? When you can see the pattern of behavior that's leading up to the actual issue, then we can make the most effective and powerful changes and really, really get some good results here. So I guess another way that I think that we should look at this is, it's not just behaviors, right? Especially when we have multiple people in the house, or excuse me, it's not just the action that's a pattern. Other patterns are established in childhood, right? When you're just growing up. So you have a pattern that was already established. Your partner also has one, and you're creating a pattern for your children, like right now while they're living with you. So when you got with the person that you're with, you didn't just inherit, the flowers and them being good looking and all these other things. You also inherited the patterns that are within them, the template that was already set from whatever time ago. So if they grew up in a messy home and they really just have this disposition to kind of, say like, hey, there's really no issue here. That's because it just feels like home to them. Mess feels like home. That's a pattern that you've inherited, okay? And patterns can be even generational when you think about it. Let's even get a little bit deeper, right? Like a family of alcoholics, right? Granddad drinks, all the uncles drink, all the cousins drink, everybody's walking around at 11 a.m. with a Budweiser. That's a pattern too, okay? So I'm just saying there's multiple ways to look at this whole thing. Now, again, coming back to you, in your house and what's going on there is a pattern. And for you, it's what you have been doing. So you may be making small tweaks and whatnot, but you're dealing with probably secondary issues and not primary ones. You're going to have to examine, and actually, let me pause here. Let me get my notes out, because what we're going to do, I will walk you through exactly how to find your patterns and then what to do about them. So here we go. Let me make sure I didn't miss anything here. You can take this time to definitely like the video and share it if there's someone that you think that this will help. Also, if you've been writing emails, that is fantastic, because I've been reading them and I'll be answering emails in the next video that I post as well. So you can definitely feel free. You can send me all your dirt. It's always safe. And when I respond to the actual email, though, your identity will be hidden. And I'll send you an email, though, so you know, like, hey, I've got your answer for you. Going live. Okay, it's never live. It's always going to be recorded. But yeah, you guys get it. Anyways, all right. So as you're looking around, you see the mess that's going on in your life. And typically, like I said, it's never just the clutter, right? You can also see that, yeah, you have the clutter here, but your relationship with your kids is also not the greatest. And there's many areas that you can work on. So what you want to do as you examine your life and look around, yes, we're acknowledging the clutter, we're acknowledging the mess, we're acknowledging the chaos, but we want to ask ourselves, have we seen this anywhere else in our lives? Okay. Did during childhood, were things like that? What was the relationship like with your parents, right? And talking to you, and just, is any of this familiar? Okay. You can even take it a step further, like the dynamic between you and your spouse, how you guys even got together. Is that a pattern? I mean, it gets deep. So look around. Like I said, have you seen any of this before? Are you establishing a pattern that was, given to you and now you're giving it to your kids? This right here just helps us to be able to see, exactly what it is. And then once we see it, we can work on it. But it's kind of that whole thing where you can't fix something you can't see. So that was step one of, how do we see our patterns, and then how do we fix them? How do we change it? And because the goal is to establish a new pattern that leads to a house and a life, honestly, that feels more honest and has more clarity and not filled with this chaos and clutter and confusion. I don't care what anybody says when people tell you like, oh, it's not a big deal, it's just part of life and this and that. I don't believe that any of us were created to live in absolute chaos or live in this hustle mode where it's just go, 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 go. And at the end of the day, you look around and you have no idea what you've done with your life, why your house looks like this. It's just all a blur. I'm just saying, it's just me, but I think you were created for more, and I have the feeling that you think the same thing about yourself too. Anyway, let's go into number 2, how to ID the pattern, or how to change the pattern. You look at yourself within the pattern. Now, what are you doing to influence or keep this pattern going on, right? This is about taking responsibility for your part in all this. Don't worry about the kids. Don't worry about the partner. Don't worry about the past. Just what are you doing right here today that is creating this pattern? You're going to want to write down what it is that you're doing on a day-to-day basis, right? So what do you do when you wake up in the morning? Did you throw that sock down there last night and just walk over it today? These are things you need to be mindful of, because as much as we want to try to correct others, correction or true change happens when it's coming from within, right? It has to start with you, and then it will emanate out into everyone else. So that was number 2. You're going to want to look at what you're doing to create this pattern. Now, number 3, you're going to want to circle the obvious red flags, right? So as you look at your actions, certain things are going to be bigger contributors to the pattern than others. So for instance, you may be leaving the socks on the floor in the morning, but you're also going to bed super late every night, right? So you're literally just operating on no energy, you're fatigued, none of us operate well or as our best selves when we're not rested. So if that's a thing, if you're literally not drinking water, not eating, super stressed, those are like the big red flags. These are the things that you're going to want to address first. No one has been able to change the world dehydrated. I don't care what anyone says. Take care of the basics, okay? And then as we work on those big things, these things, like I said, picking up socks or creating systems and working on habits and all this stuff, it will all fall together, guys. But we cannot keep skipping past root problems. You as a human, your soul, your body, your mind, it needs certain things to operate. You can keep depriving yourself of the things you need, but I promise you're not being the mother or the wife or the girlfriend or, just the person that you want to be or that you know you were created to be. So take care of the little things. And that was number 3, though. Circle the obvious red flags, those big things that if you just change this one thing, your life could change, 100% or 100-fold, okay? Next up, number 4, you need to, now that was super ugly, yuck. Number 4, you need to visualize the new pattern. What should the new pattern look like? Like, what does life look like that has a cleaner result or less chaos, right? What do you need to do? If you just had to sit down and imagine, what would life be like? What would you actually have to walk out every day in order to have the home or have the life that you actually want? And this is extremely important because it goes back to sometimes you don't know something until you see it, right? But if you were never exposed to just what does life look like when you have things in order, then obviously you're working off of 0. So sometimes you just have to create it, and I promise you, your mind is more powerful than you think. Like, yes, I know we all go to the internet and all these places for help all the time. So it's a lot of energy going out like, like help me, help me, help me, help me. But I promise, just take a step, back, some deep breaths, because there are a lot more answers inside of you than you realize. I promise you, it is in you, okay? Sit down, drink some water, grab a piece of paper and a pen. What would you have to do in order to create the home or the life that you actually want? Just Monday through Friday, just what would that day-to-day look like? Okay? Then from there, now that you have that template, you can reverse engineer from that to actually begin to walk it out. Okay? So we're talking about how to change the pattern. Now that you visualized it, step number 5, you literally have to commit to taking action. Okay? It's kind of like you can pray all day for a miracle that everybody else in the house changes. You can pray that a hurricane comes and sweeps all of the mess away. But guys, no, at this point, what I'm saying is prayer. Let your action be your prayer. Okay? You don't have time to do any more wishful thinking. Like, you have got to get to work. Stop thinking that you can keep putting these things off. And when I say putting these things off, I mean stop thinking that you can take your time on creating the life that you want for yourselves, okay? Because none of us know how long we have to live. And I can assure you, my mom used to always tell me, make sure you wear good underwear and good socks before you leave the house, because you just never know what could happen. And so, you need to ask yourself, as you look around at your life, is this how you want to leave? Like this? Yeah, I doubt it. So here are the 5 steps one more time to creating a new pattern, which is look around and just figure out, have you seen this pattern before? Okay, where did it come from? Is it familiar? Number 2, what are you actually doing? within this pattern, what is your role? How are you contributing to this? Don't look at anyone else. This is about taking accountability, okay? Number 3, you're going to want to circle the big obvious red flags, right? The big things that you're doing that are contributing to this pattern continuing. Number 4, you're going to want to visualize what does a new pattern look like, okay? Monday through Sunday, right? What would your life have to look like each of those days in order for the result to be a life that actually feels good, a home that looks good, for you to actually feel like you're a good mother and you're actually creating good relationships with your kids, and that the desired result you want at the end of, your parenthood is, that's what you're actually, working towards. Okay. Visualize, like, what do you want? Speak it. Don't be afraid, guys. Okay. And then number 5, you have got to put the work in. There's no prayer. There's no meditation. There is nothing that will do the heavy lifting for you. Like, you are going to have to get to work. Like, you have to do the work. You have to commit to taking the actions that you see are relevant to your situation that will change your life. And, let me see. So a lot of times we talk about creating a dream life, right? You hear that all the time. But if you're here, then like me, a dream life would just be a home that feels good, right? A home that looks good. Me feeling good about myself. Me getting enough rest. That's a dream life. Me feeling like I'm being a good mother, a good daughter, all these things. That's dream life stuff for me. At the end of the day, I want to truly be the Victoria I was created to be. And that's how I want you to approach all of this, right? As you're looking around at your house, as you're looking around at your family, as you're looking at yourself, you were created to be more than what you see around you, okay? All of this is just the byproduct of you being, I will say, even just unfocused on what's truly important, which is living an honest life. And I'm not calling you a liar. I'm more so meaning honest to your true feelings and desires, and honest to what you were actually created to be. I just think that's so important, because I know it's very easy to get caught up in just the humdrum of everyday life. And again, guys, we don't know how much time we have on this earth. So to keep putting things off, yes, kids doing all their activities and whatnot is super important, but so is the time you pour into them, that face time that you get with them, right? Connecting with them and truly seeing where they are. So is you walking in your purpose, right? Whatever that may be. Some people, yes, your family is important, but there's always a bigger purpose, to you, why you were created. Like, why were you literally created the way you were created? There's a reason for that, and you need to tap into that, because you're probably not you're not releasing whatever gifts or things are in you, right? The people around you they're getting a dull version of you, I guess, is a better way to say it. And if you want to walk in your purpose, even if you think your family or your children are that, you're still not doing it if you're operating from a place of tiredness and stress and shame and defeat and all these other just very low vibrational feelings. So I'm just leaving you today saying that you knew you were created to do and be amazing, right? You wouldn't be here if you weren't. And that means being amazing right where you are, though. I'm not talking about going to cure AIDS and all these other things. I think they already did that too. That's weird. We'll get into that later. But anyway, be amazing right where you are. You deserve that. You should do that. And you need to do whatever it takes to do that. Okay? Do that. Recognize the patterns that are preventing that from happening. Create new ones. And be your amazing self from here on out. Why not? You can either just keep doing what you've been doing, the old pattern, or just step into the new pattern and have the life you always wanted. With that, I bid you farewell, and I will see you in the next video.